Hello, everybody, and welcome to Your Time to Thrive with health and wellness coach Jason Stevenson. Hey, Jay, how are you?
Doing great. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, it's
Good. I see you got your office back without the rain today.
yep, yeah. I think so it was last Wednesday, right, when we did the show, or 2 weeks ago on Wednesday when we did the show, and it literally started to pour as I was out here finishing up. So I'm excited about that. However, it's been a busy morning, so I'm plugged into the wall, so I'm not exactly where I'd like to be, where the greenery is behind, but and it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. So what are we talking about today, my friend?
Are your paths and choices helping or hurting you?
Good question. Hurting.
Well, that's what we're here to talk about today.
Oh, are
It
we
came
expanding on
about
it?
as most of these conversations do. We can. You don't have to. If you
Go
want to
ahead.
settle on that and just go, yeah, no. Well, so it came about because people often ask me, like, what's the perfect diet? What's the perfect workout? Like, what's the answer? And it never is the answer, right? Like, it's not like my training style is the perfect answer. Like, I'm not the perfect trainer. The program isn't the perfect program. The diet is not the perfect diet. It's, for me, it's always what is helping you? What is getting you towards your goals? Because there are certainly things in our life that we experience that we want to experience. You know, they're like, if grandma makes homemade lasagna and you're working on like low carbs or trying to limit your starchy carb intake, but you're at grandma's house and she makes an amazing homemade lasagna, eat the lasagna, right? Like, if it's a
I don't
birthday
know.
party, yeah. Well,
I
if
don't
it's a
know.
birthday party,
I need your advice on this.
well, you do. You just don't eat a pile of it, right? You just eat the right portion of it. But recognize that that isn't necessarily going to help you towards your goals, but it's going to help you towards your goal of quality of life and happiness and balance. And just recognize that the rest of the day or the rest of the weekend, you're going to make better choices to help you back towards your goal. You know, it's an old analogy that they talk about the path that diverges in the woods. It's a fantastic poem by Robert Frost that we want to take into consideration in our decision making. Is this moment, is this choice, is this food, is this exercise, is this getting me closer to my goals, or is it taking me further away? And then recognize and understand that it can take you on a detour, but still recognize that your path wants to continuously be the one that heads in the right direction. So instead of it being good or bad food, because that's really where this conversation came from, because we often label things as good and bad, and that puts a negative connotation on it, and then it takes things into a place where emotionally and psychologically you may be beating yourself up about the choice or the decision that you made.
Yeah.
But if you can accept that you consciously made a choice to take you in a little bit of a detour for the right reasons, you can reset easier. You can go back to that path that you want it to be on, instead of in that mental place where it's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Now I'm self-deprecating. Now I'm wallowing in my choices. So instead of thinking good and bad, instead of thinking perfect or not, like we always talk about, a little bit counts more than none, right? So is this choice right in front of me right now, which is all that we have anyway, is the present moment? Which direction is it taking? Is this going to be a much longer route towards my goals, or is this a more direct path towards my goals? What do you think?
I like it. It reminds me of so this YouTube channel that I watch is has a couple that are that have been on a weight loss journey, and they follow a whole food plant based diet, and it's, you know, they're doing great together. They've lost over like 400 and something, a ridiculous amount of weight, and something like that. And they, but my point was that they talked about, I believe it was Penn Jillette, um, who coined it, but I might be wrong. Rare and appropriate exceptions. You know, instead, like, not a planned cheat meal, not a, you know, but rare and appropriate occasions to get off of the healthy, you know, like grandma's lasagna, for example, on a holiday, or something like that would be a rare and appropriate occasion to indulge in something that isn't necessarily feeding your body the way that it should be, um, but is important in other ways. And
Yes.
and actually, and the reason why that was so prevalent is because I had just watched a video of them talking about how they had a little too many rare and appropriates in July and August, and I think that that's, you know, it's true. Like, it's what is the, and you've told me this for 8 years. You know, like, if you want something and it's there, and it's, you know, and it makes sense, and it's like a part of your life or whatever, like, you know, you don't necessarily need to deny yourself that, because then you're just making your mindset that you can't have something, and
Yes.
that's uh, but uh but portion control, rare and appropriate, that kind of thing, making it so that it's I mean, you, was it last week that, did you talk about this on the show, the Big Mac?
Yes.
Like, you love Big Macs, but if you get a craving for a Big Mac, you'll go to the store and get the ingredients to make a burger yourself,
Yeah.
or even like a salad with the dressing on it.
Yep.
You know, I believe you told me that a long time ago.
Yes.
So that's, you know, I think that that makes a lot of sense. And the other section of what you just said, I wrote, I was doing morning pages journaling like a month ago, and I just kept writing, do the next right thing over and over again,
Yes.
because, like, if you look at it as like you're never going to have grandma's lasagna again, you know, you're that's daunting.
Yeah.
But if you break it down to, are your choices, is this choice helping you or hurting you, and you're conscious of it, it's a lot easier.
Yeah. And you, like you said, it's not the self-deprecation. We're not labeling things as good or bad. You know, I'm not going to beat myself up, because people will do that with me. I talk, because, you know, we talk food all the time, and I'll say, so what did you have for dinner last night? And they'll say, well, I was bad. It's like, no, what did you do? What was your conscious choice? And 9 times out of 10, if we actually evaluate the entirety of their day's caloric intake, you can see that honestly, it wasn't as bad as they thought it was, but they'd already painted that picture, you know, because they had the French fries for dinner, or they had the fried fish, or they had pasta, or like they had some meat, like whatever your world of like bad is, we paint that picture. And then that's the life that you've lived. You know, like, these are bad choices. I made bad choices. I'm a bad person. No, you're human. You're normal. You're just making choices that aren't helping you, you know? And we all do. We all do. What the question is, where are you going with that? Are you consciously making that choice, and then you're coming right back to the reset, and you know where your path is, and you're staying on that path because you have short-term and long-term goals? Are you allowing those rare and appropriate, which is a really amazing way to say that? And I may actually give him credit, but I'm stealing it. The point behind it is rare, like rare. So many people reward themselves daily. Like, I deserve these couple of beers, or I deserve dessert tonight after the day I had, or I deserve to have the cheeseburger and the French fries on my way home from work because I had a long day and I'm tired. You know, if you can justify that kind of stuff daily, look back on that and notice where you are on your path. You are not where you wanted to be setting those goals in the past. So those rewards should be rare. and appropriate. You know, we've come into a society now where we reward ourselves all the time. You know, I can have birthday cake right now if I go to Stop and Shop and pick up a birthday cake. Like, it's right there for me. It used to be somebody had to like take the time and the energy to bake you a cake. Now it's pre-made. Everything's set and ready to go. So the thought process is always being conscious of our long-term, short-terms. And then what am I doing every day to get me closer? And it can just be 5 minutes. It can just be a better choice on the portions. But ultimately, if you just put $1 into your savings account every day, at the end of the month, you've still saved money. You're still moving forward towards your goals. And that's where we want to be. Right?
Absolutely. And I think that it reminds me of another thing that I'm not sure if it was you or Glenn or it was around that time, like 6 years ago. The philosophy of like the reward, right? Of rewarding yourself, like you were just talking about. I think it's the Dalai Lama. I could be very wrong about this. Of we do things and we look at the, like, if I bust my ass in the gym and do all of this stuff, then I can have that piece of chocolate cake.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not the reward. The reward is how you feel. Like you have to switch what you are looking at as the reward, because if the reward is the thing that hurts you, that's not a good thing. Like
that's not a reward.
You know what I mean? Like that's the reward. The mindset should be that the reward is how you feel. The reward is the quality of life. The reward is the longevity. The reward is being able to, get up and play with your kids or your grandkids or go for a walk or, not have your back hurt as much or whatever it is that your situation is. That's the reward. The reward isn't, I'm going to do all of this hard work so that I can eat a full pan of grandma's lasagna. This episode should be called Grandma's Lasagna. But you know what I mean? Like that's not the mindset is what trips you up on that, because then your choices are being made to get to the bad thing anyway.
Yeah, that doesn't help you. Which
Yeah.
is literally one step forward for one step back. You're never going to move forward.
Yeah.
So that brings into question then, what are you doing to reset, stay focused on your long-term, short-terms, and what are you doing to reward yourself? That's really the question. That's the awareness of our choices and understanding that the benefit versus the risk and the reward. And then really, what is that doing? How is that moving you forward? Is this helping me achieve more? Am I going to get further with this? And what rewards am I building into that system so that I do continue to move forward? It's usually the weekend warrior stuff, like somebody is routinely very good on their nutrition and very good on their fitness throughout the week, and then they just throw it all away over the weekend. Well, you're literally playing catch up all week long for the reward of this past weekend.
Yep.
And it's a tough cycle to get out of, because you push yourself so hard during the week. And we're being general about this, obviously, because we all fall into different categories of this. And the question that I'm bringing today is for self-evaluation. What steps have you put into place to help you be successful in the long term? What goals have you put into place? What short-term goals? And then what rewards? Like, how are you viewing those successes? Because there are certainly habits in all of our lives that shouldn't necessarily be labeled good or bad, but if you recognize that continuously pulls you from your path, continuously keeps you from achieving your long-term goals, then you definitely should take that off and put that in the rare and appropriate, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about happiness for a second and success. Like
that's what this is about.
Yeah, you've used it a couple times now in this realm of what we're talking about today, and like let's talk about how we define our happiness and our success in this, because if you're, this just got me thinking about the thing, like if you're busting your ass in the gym so that you can have a full pan of grandma's lasagna, and then you're gonna reset yourself so that it's horrible. Like it's the same thing of like if you're doing, if you're working 5 to 6 days a week for the weekend, like that type of like if you're not happy, if your mindset, if the choices that you're making aren't because of the way that you determine what your successes are and what your happiness is, and if you're not happy the whole way through, right? Like if you're not
Right.
happy in the gym because you're just waiting to get to the chocolate cake, if you're not happy every day doing so, for the most part, like obviously there are ups and downs, but if you're not happy like during your week and you're just living for Saturday, like that's gonna mess you up. Like that's gonna make you make bad choices that hurt
Yeah.
you because you're only thinking about the reward, and what you're putting on a pedestal is grandma's lasagna, chocolate, which is amazing. All grandmas make amazing lasagna, I'm sure. But like that's the if that's your happiness, if that's then it's obvious why we're failing and going back to that, because that's the thing that we're deriving our joy from, you
Right.
know? And then it becomes very easy to, if you love that and you hate the process of the work that you're putting in, then you're not going to enthusiastically do the work, and you're going to over enthusiastically eat the cake.
Yes. Not that anybody should ever eat cake without enthusiasm,
No, but
but but yeah,
but
agreed.
it's what you said. It's the piece of lasagna versus the pan of lasagna. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's the letting yourself be miserable every single day during the week so that you can go out and have like 30 beers on the weekend.
Right.
Like it's I think that's what I'm looking at this as what you said about the reward situation. Like if your vision of your success or your vision of your happiness is based on like being able to eat chocolate cake like guilt free or whatever, then you're really gonna struggle with making the good choices for yourself all through the week or whatever you're doing, on a normal
Yeah.
daily basis.
Exactly. Well, it's very cliche, but I say it all the time within the world of fitness stuff because sometimes the movements that I'm explaining or trying to get somebody to pay attention to are different than traditional stuff. Meaning, if I'm doing like a bench press, then my goal is to move the bar, but the essence of that is we're not really trying to move the bar. What we're trying to do is contract our muscles. And in that muscle contraction, the bar moves. So I'll say the journey is the destination. So instead of focusing on the destination of getting the bar up, I want to focus on what I'm experiencing during that movement. Can I feel my chest in that? Can I feel my shoulders and triceps? Am I aware of the rest of my body? So it's the same thing. The journey is truly the destination in all of this. If your goal is to just get through the week, then you wasted 5 out of 7 days. And if that's the way that your successes are based, then what are you doing with your life? That's a lot of time. That's literally 3/4 of your life is wasted just trying to get through till you could get to that celebration, till you could get to that reward. And if that's you out there, whoever you are, then my suggestion is to look for some help. Call somebody, talk to somebody, sit down with somebody and say, I just realized that I'm not happy. Because if 5 out of 7 days, you're not happy with your lifestyle, with your life, with your habits, with your choices, because you're just trying to plug away until you get to where you can enjoy your life, then you are wasting your life. There are way too many opportunities out there and things to do and ways to do them for you to actually enjoy some of it. Because you're not going to love every bit of it. people aren't going to love eating kale all the time necessarily, although I think kale is delicious. Or they're not going to love working out, although a lot of people enjoy the path that they've chosen of workouts. If you don't like to run, then don't go run. Find something you like to do, but find something that helps you feel alive and in line with what makes you feel more alive as much as possible, so that it's not just, I finished the race, finally, now I can feel good. You just ran 26.2 miles, you were miserable. What was the point? Right? Like, if that was really your life and you look back on it and you spent 5 out of 7 days for an entire lifetime working to be able to enjoy your weekends, that's a shitty life. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. That's a shitty life. Like, 2 days out of the week is not enough to enjoy life. Like, come on. So this plays into all of the pieces that we've talked about. The small steps, the 5 minutes is better than nothing. Because you can take joy in little things. You can keep things simple and make them ways that you enjoy them. You can have a positive attitude of gratitude instead of, oh, I gotta go to work. How about I've got a job? You know, or I have a way of supporting my lifestyle. You know, at the very least, even if you don't change anything about your lifestyle, change your perspective about it and your life will change. Change the way that you view your choices. Because then instead of saying this is a bad choice, this is just a rare and appropriate choice that I'm taking until I get back onto my path. That perspective change, you don't have to change anything. That old analogy of the glass is half full, glass is half empty, or my favorite, you got a glass and there's something in it, so quit bitching. But regardless, no matter what side of that perspective you're on, those are 3 different perspectives. All 3 of them are still looking at the same glass. We didn't change the quantity or the contents. We just changed our perspective, which is really what it's about, because it's a mental perspective.
Megan, our third co-host on here. Why do we equate happiness to temporary things that make us feel good in the moment, but once the moment ends, we are back to our old ways or continuously having to reset?
Because we're choosing the wrong things to make us happy. Because in this country and a lot of the world, we've been taught that food is a reward, that instant gratification of sugar, that instant gratification of drugs and alcohol and disconnection from life, and those momentary escapes from reality, from our reality. You've been told it, you've been sold it, and you've been continuously fed it for your entire lifetime. There are people that are much smarter and clued into that, making a lot more money off of our entire culture, because it's built that way. It's built for you to be pacified and fed crap so that you think you're happy. That's why the Roman Colosseum was built. They killed thousands of people for sport to entertain the masses while they decimated their society and robbed them blind. It's the same thing that goes on in our society. The minority that's in charge, without going too conspiracy theory on this. I appreciate that, Meg. That's what happens. It's you listening to yourself. Listen to your true self. Because your internal monologue, your true self, who you really are at your heart, not your desires, not the angel and the devil, because you're listening to the angel and the devil. You're not the angel or the devil. You are the person observing the conversation. Your true self knows the difference between instant gratification, which is that cake I want right now, or the quality of life, the health, and the lifestyle that you deserve. Was that too much of a rant for an answer?
Not at all.
I know we're in a line with the thought process.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, what else? What else you got here? Because I think that we've covered a massive amount of topics in one go here.
Well, we got a little quick recap for you before we close up.
And Megan just said amazing.
Thanks, Meg. What's
a recap for me?
What? Week? Come on. This is your time to thrive, meaning your time.
What was I supposed to do this week?
You were supposed to reset.
That's not a good sign, right?
You were supposed to, yeah. I'm going to ask you to write this down, get a pen and paper, and say, I'm important enough for self-care. I'm important enough to go to sleep early.
No,
to start my day right.
I did make a plan, and I went to sleep on time most nights.
Nice.
Yep, most nights I went to sleep on time. The other thing that I did was I did not force myself to get up too early. So if I did oversleep, I let myself, I mean, not if I did oversleep, if I did go to sleep too late, I did actually give myself a realistic window of time to sleep in, as much as I could, which was great. And the eating was okay, as it has been. And getting up and moving was fine. Nothing major changed in any direction. It was fairly good. I have to order that mini fridge. Which
I'm getting it on Amazon. I'm just sending it to you.
Don't do that.
Then buy it, or I'm buying it for you.
I will.
And then you're gonna have to deal with the fridge that I buy for you, as opposed to the one you might want.
Yeah. So but that's basically it. I mean, the majority of I started doing the morning routine stuff again, which has been really nice and helpful. My homework was to meditate. Yes. So yeah, did that. That's been going fairly well. Yeah, so
good.
It's about for me, it's just about creating repeatable, maintainable habits, as you often say, and just getting the, literally just getting there and doing it, and controlling the chaos, right? So
yes.
so right now, obviously, like, things are very hectic and very busy, and there's a lot of moving parts and stuff. And I was talking to Dave the other night, and he was like, we had a big conversation just about, not about this stuff, but about like life in general. And we have a family calendar, like a shared calendar app, and it's for everybody in the house. And he was like, that calendar is a joke. Like, we never know what you're doing. We never know when you're available. Like, we just assume that you're literally working from the moment you get up to the moment you go to bed, but nothing's scheduled in there. So like, you just come upstairs as if this is like a kitchen in like a shared kitchen in a dorm, and like, you just grab your food and take it and go back downstairs as fast as you can. And I was like, oh shit. So I every morning started to make sure that everything that I needed to do that day, or as soon as somebody this show was not in the shared calendar until today. How long have we been doing this for? Like 4 months?
That's bullshit.
Yeah. So this was not in the shared calendar. I hadn't been putting meetings in, and what happened was I was agreeing to stuff constantly because I was getting like asked to do many, many things every day, and I would agree to stuff, and then like, just like, I'm lucky that I am capable enough to remember things on the fly, but I've been relying heavily on that.
Yeah.
And apparently it's torturous to live with. Which is good to know, actually, because it's torturous to live with for me. So I started, as soon as something is booked, or as soon as somebody asks me to do something, I put it in the calendar. I put it on the to-do list.
Good.
And then I have something to reference. And also letting go of the fact that, like, not everything's going to get done every day. Like, not everything on the to-do list is going to get done every day, and that's okay. But as long as there's some structure, that's good. And I think that adding that structure is, it already is feeling better, in relation to like the family, which is nice. And it's already feeling better in regards to work. So that's all good. And of course, as usual with me, the last step is actual self-care. So that's the third thing. You know what though? Honestly, I think that what we were talking about during this show was like all about mindset and the choices that you're making helping and hurting you. And I feel like I talked a lot of stuff out for myself during this episode as far as because intellectually that the chocolate cake is not supposed to be the reward, right? That the healthy thing that you're doing for yourself. And this isn't even about food at all right now for me, but like life in general, the happiness aspect of it, the destination is the journey. The
Yes.
journey is the destination, like you said. That is something that really has to um that really has to be uh like leveled out, and something that I need to remind myself of constantly, because I end up getting too involved in the outcomes, even though I love the process of it, of whatever it is. I get too involved with the outcome. And when
Yeah.
you're too involved with the outcome, when you're too fixated on the end result, things become daunting, things become overwhelming. You get less grateful of what you have at the moment, and you get more
Yeah.
stressed about things not going perfectly to lead to that thing. If you're only obsessed with the end result, the stumbles all hurt, and it's hard to get up from. But
Yes.
if you think about it as this is a long journey and the journey is the point, then I feel like when you stumble, you get back up and you just keep walking in that direction.
Damn right. Second.
Thanks, Jessica.
Love it, Jess.
Thank you, Megan. Megan said I do the same thing, and then I think I have more time than I actually do, and it leaves me burnt out. When it's on the calendar, you can also see the time that you have for self-care, schedule and self-care every day. Yes.
Yes.
Well, anyway, that's all I got today.
So I got one last question for you then, because this is
Yeah.
in line with all of that. If nothing stopped you from achieving your goals, look 12 months down the road, and what would your future self tell you today? What advice would your future self give you?
Uh, Honestly, I think about this answer all the time. Not from this specific question, but I think about the answer all the time, which is, uh, it was easy. All it took was effort. I think that I think
Say
that
it again. You just clicked on me.
it was easy. All it took was effort. Can you hear me?
Damn right.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it.
So,
Damn right, man.
anyway, all right. Where
And
can
you
people
can.
find? Thank you. Where can people
You can
find
do
you?
it.
Let's get out of here. My mom's sending me passive aggressive texts. Let's get let's get out of here. What are we doing? Where can people find you?
ThriveTrainingTeam.com. ThriveTrainingTeam.com. Jump on there. Shoot me an email, shoot me a private message, whatever works. Remember, your choices you have control over. Are they going to help you? Are they going to hurt you? Go out there and thrive. You deserve it, friends.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you, buddy. I'll see you soon, man.